What if the pain you've been trying to heal is actually the source of your greatest power? Most people think intelligence is measured by grades, IQ scores, or how fast you can solve a problem. But there's a type of intelligence that no school teaches, no test can measure, and most people who have it don't even realize it. It's called traumatic intelligence. And if you've been through hard things, if life has broken you, rebuilt you, and left invisible scars, stay with me, because the next few minutes might completely change how you see yourself. Psychologists have studied resilience for decades, but somewhere between surviving and thriving, a small group of people develop something extraordinary. Their nervous systems, minds, and emotional cores have been forged, not educated, into a rare kind of wisdom. These are people who've experienced loss, chaos, emotional neglect, instability, or deep psychological pain. And instead of being destroyed by it, their brains adapted in ways that most privileged minds simply never will. They read rooms others can't read. They see lies before they're spoken. They feel what people are afraid to say. They carry wisdom that 40-year-olds are still trying to find in self-help books. This isn't about glorifying trauma. Trauma is real, and healing matters. But today, we're talking about the gift hidden inside the wound. Here are 10 signs you carry traumatic intelligence, the rarest and most powerful form of smart. You can read people instantly. When you grew up in an unpredictable environment, your survival depended on reading people accurately and fast. Was this person safe? Were they angry? Were they lying? Your brain became a finely tuned human lie detector, not by choice, but by necessity. Now, as an adult, you walk into a room, and within seconds, you know things. You sense tension before anyone says a word. You notice the slight shift in someone's tone. You catch the micro-expression that flashes across someone's face for half a second. This isn't paranoia. This is hypervigilance evolved into social genius. Most people spend years studying body language. You lived it. You have an unusually deep emotional range. People with traumatic intelligence don't just feel happy or sad. They feel everything in layers, in dimensions, in colors that most people don't have names for. You can sit with someone in their darkest moment and not flinch. You don't rush to fix their pain or make it smaller. You understand it. You're sad because you've been in that darkness yourself. This is emotional depth that therapists spend careers trying to develop. You already have it. It makes you an extraordinary friend, partner, and leader because you can hold space for human complexity that others simply cannot handle. You have an extremely high tolerance for ambiguity. Comfortable people need certainty. They need plans, guarantees, and predictable outcomes. But when your early life was unpredictable, you learned to function inside chaos. You adapted to not knowing. You built resilience inside instability. This means you can make decisions with incomplete information. You can pivot when everything falls apart. You can sit in uncertainty without crumbling. In business, leadership, crisis management, this is one of the most valuable cognitive traits that exists. Now, while others freeze, you move. You think in patterns, not just facts. Traumatic intelligence rewires the brain to look for patterns because patterns meant safety or danger. Over time, this becomes an almost supernatural ability to connect dots that others miss entirely. You see the bigger picture. You notice when a situation is beginning to rhyme with something that happened before. You think 3 steps ahead, not because you're calculating, but because your brain was trained to anticipate. This is systems thinking, strategic intelligence, and it lives inside you because life made you need it. You are deeply perceptive about hypocrisy. People with traumatic intelligence have a very low tolerance for fakeness and an uncanny ability to detect it. When you've been betrayed, manipulated, or gaslit, your brain develops antibodies against deception. You can tell when someone's smile doesn't match their eyes, when a person's words contradict their behavior, when a story has holes that nobody else notices. You don't announce it, you just know. And you quietly adjust how much trust you extend before most people have even realized something was off. You're fiercely protective of others. One of the most powerful expressions of traumatic intelligence is empathy converted into action. Because you know what it feels like to be unprotected, you become a protector. You stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. You see vulnerability in others, and instead of exploiting it, you instinctively shield it. You are the person who notices the quiet one in the room, the one who checks on people after everyone else has moved on. This isn't weakness. This is the rarest kind of moral courage, born not from innocence but from having been on the other side of cruelty. You have a highly developed inner world. When the outside world wasn't safe, many traumatically intelligent people retreated inward and built something extraordinary there. Rich imaginations, complex inner dialogues, deep philosophical questions about life, meaning, and existence. You probably thought deeply about things as a child that adults around you had never even considered. You questioned things. You imagined other realities. You built worlds inside your mind to survive the one you were in. That inner world didn't disappear. It became the source of creativity, intuition, and insight that people around you can't quite explain, but definitely feel. You learn from pain, not just praise. Here's something most successful people understand only in hindsight. Failure is a better teacher than success. People who've only known comfort are often fragile when things go wrong. But you've already been broken. You already know how to rebuild. Pain has taught you things that no classroom, no mentor, and no book ever could. It taught you who you are under pressure. It taught you what actually matters. It taught you that you can survive things you never thought you'd survive. This makes you anti-fragile, the kind of person who doesn't just bounce back from adversity, but actually grows because of it. You have a quiet, unshakable sense of authenticity. People who've worn masks to survive, who've had to perform happiness, normalcy, or strength when they felt none of it, eventually reach a point where they simply stop pretending. The performance is exhausting, and at some point, traumatic intelligence strips away everything false and leaves only what's real. You don't need approval the way others do. You don't shape yourself to fit every room you walk into. You have a core, tested, refined by fire, that doesn't bend under social pressure. This authenticity is magnetic. People feel it. They trust you in a way they can't quite articulate because they sense you are real in a world full of performance. You carry wisdom that can't be taught. The last sign is the most important. There is a kind of wisdom that only experience can give, and specifically, only painful experience. It's the wisdom of someone who has looked at the worst of life and kept going. You understand impermanence, that good things end and that loss is survivable. You understand people, their fears, their pretenses, their quiet desperation. You understand yourself, your limits, your strength, your capacity for both darkness and light. This wisdom cannot be downloaded, purchased, or inherited. It is earned, and it makes you one of the most valuable people in any room, not because of what you know, but because of what you've lived. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. The world will try to tell you that your pain was a setback, that your wounds make you damaged, that you are behind somehow, less than the people who had easier lives. Don't believe it. Traumatic intelligence is not a consolation prize. It is a forge. And the people who come out of it, the ones who do the work, who choose healing, who refuse to let their pain become their identity, they become some of the most extraordinary human beings alive. You are not broken. You are built differently. The same experiences that were meant to diminish you have been quietly constructing something rare inside you. And now that you know what to call it, honor it, develop it, use it, because the world doesn't just need more smart people, it needs you. Your depth, your perception, your hard-won wisdom. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you've never heard anyone tell you this before, let me be the first. What you've been through was not wasted. It was preparation.